What you are about to witness is a masterclass in mechanical restoration. An incredible transformation begins as one woman takes on a forgotten machine. Armed with raw skill and determination, she will bring it back from the brink. The process starts with the most crucial step, a thorough engine diagnosis. She carefully works on the battery connections with a wrench. Using a screwdriver, she adjusts a component in the fuel system. Her focus is absolute as she works on another part of the engine. Success! The tractor is running, and she confidently drives it from the field. She brings the machine back to her workshop. Now, the first step of the full restoration, a thorough cleaning with a water hose. She moves the tractor into a covered workshop area for further inspection. A close-up reveals a temporary repair, showcasing her resourcefulness. The next phase involves disassembling the tractor for a deeper restoration. She returns her focus to the engine, working on a specific component. With careful precision, she begins reassembling a part of the machine. Now working on the piping system, she meticulously checks and fits the tubes. A close-up of the engine shows the results of her repairs and cleaning. Using a small tool, she works on a minor engine component with great detail. She uses a hose to wash an individual part of the tractor. All the disassembled components are laid out and cleaned thoroughly. She stands beside the repair and cleaned tractor with a look of satisfaction. The restoration process continues with cleaning the individual tractor parts. She uses an angle grinder to polish a metal part, removing old rust and grime. In her workshop, she performs maintenance on the engine. Using a spray gun, she applies a fresh coat of red paint to a component. Wearing a protective mask, she carefully paints another part black. Now, she begins welding metal tubes together. Wearing a welding mask for protection, she skillfully constructs a sturdy frame. As she welds, a small parrot watches from nearby. She begins disassembling an engine component with a hand tool. With a wrench, she carefully removes the tractor's alternator. She continues to patiently and meticulously disassemble the engine. Another part of the engine is carefully removed. She focuses on cleaning and inspecting the smaller engine components. Using a solvent and brush, she removes dirt and grease from the parts. An angle grinder is used to remove stubborn rust and buildup. The reassembly process begins with clean, refurbished parts. She works efficiently and professionally to put the engine back together. After assembly, she double-checks the components to ensure they work properly. She meticulously completes the final steps of the engine assembly. The fully restored tractor engine is now complete. Using a red angle grinder, she cleans a black machine part. A close-up view of the gearbox reveals its intricate inner workings. She carefully pours lubricating oil onto a piston. A man uses a hammer to fit a small part into the engine block. The woman focuses on assembling a small engine component. A close-up shot of the cylinder head shows the clean valves and springs. Using a simple crane system, she lifts the heavy engine block. The newly cleaned and painted engine hangs from the crane, looking brand new. She moves on to inspecting the tractor's tire. A section of the tractor, likely the gearbox, is being disassembled. She demonstrates patience while working on another small part. Using a wrench, she skillfully removes a tractor component. She carefully cleans another part with the angle grinder. The tractor wheel rim is also clean and prepared with the angle grinder. She uses a spray gun to paint a part of the tractor. Her focus and patience are evident as she handles another small component. The detailed work continues with precision. Her skill is on display as she assembles a larger section of the machine. She continues her work on another small, intricate part. The restoration project showcases her wide range of mechanical skills. She begins work on a small, green tractor, her face set in concentration. She peers through a hole on a freshly painted red metal part. Now wearing a face mask, she continues to work on the red component. Using a power drill, she assembles a wheel onto the tractor. She uses a small crane to lift a heavy machine part into place. With a wrench, she secures the newly installed component. Next, she installs the alternator onto the engine with a screwdriver. She tightens the bolts on another part with a wrench. A man assists by hammering a component while she observes. She moves a partially disassembled green tractor in her busy workshop. Working on another green tractor, she tightens a part with a wrench. She focuses on assembling a part of its engine. Now working on the red tractor, she uses a screwdriver to secure a component. She assembles a part on the front of the red tractor. She completes the assembly, checking her work on the red tractor, now featuring a sticker. Sitting on the finished tractor, she gives it one final inspection. Her skills also extend to motorcycles, as she works on a red bike. She performs an oil change, draining the old oil into a pan. While an older man observes, she tightens a part on the rear of the bike. She performs a final check on the fully serviced motorcycle. The next project is a complete engine overhaul for a red motorcycle. Using a power drill, she begins to disassemble the engine. She moves the motorcycle to create more space as disassembled parts lay on the ground. With intense focus, she uses a small tool to loosen a screw on the engine. Her careful and concentrated work continues from another angle. A close-up of her face shows her serious and focused expression. Using a long tool for leverage, she removes the clutch assembly. A detailed close-up shows her removing another small engine part. She works to remove a larger section of the engine casing. Next, she focuses on removing the engine cylinder component. Working on the main engine block, she loosens more screws. A man helps by holding an engine component steady. With a small hammer, she carefully taps a part into the engine. She continues to work diligently on a small part of the engine. She carefully disassembles the area around the crankshaft. She begins the process of cleaning the engine parts with a solvent. Her focus remains sharp as she works on another component. She organizes and cleans the small, disassembled parts. The reassembly begins as she fits a clean part into the engine. She organizes the components in preparation for the next stage of assembly. She pours a light-colored fluid, likely oil, into the disassembled engine. With intense focus, she holds an engine part and inspects it closely. She carefully pours orange-colored oil over the engine's crankshaft and gears. Using a long wrench, she applies force to tighten an engine component. She sits and works on disassembling another small part of the engine. In a small pan, she cleans an engine part, stirring it to remove old, dark oil. The process of cleaning parts in the pan continues meticulously. By hand, she precisely assembles a small component into the engine. She skillfully uses a power drill to tighten a large part of the engine. Using a T-shaped tool, she carefully tightens another component. She continues the reassembly, fitting another part into place by hand. With the T-tool, she precisely tightens another engine component. A small part is carefully fitted into the engine assembly. With a small tool, she diligently cleans a small engine part. The cleaning process continues on another part of the engine. She precisely fits a large component of the engine by hand. The engine assembly continues with another carefully placed part. She continues to assemble the engine with focus. With patience, she uses a small tool to clean a final component. As a final step, she carefully places the bolts for the cylinder head. Using a thin tool, a woman disassembles part of a motorcycle engine. She sits before the engine block, using a wrench to work on a component. With great concentration, she assembles small parts by hand. She pours a dark red fluid, likely oil, through a red funnel. She now works on the body of the red motorcycle, disassembling a part. A close-up reveals the complex details of the partially disassembled engine. She works carefully on another part of the engine with her hands. Using a tool, she makes adjustments to the motorcycle's chain system. A wider shot shows the partially disassembled motorcycle surrounded by tools. She struggles slightly as she pushes the heavy motorcycle. She continues to work on a component at the rear of the bike. She repositions the motorcycle to a different spot in the workshop. With a man's help, she uses a homemade crane to transport the engine block. She begins the process of cleaning the engine block. The engine, suspended from the crane, is sterilely washed with a hose. She carefully drains the remaining excess oil from the engine. The wide view shows a workshop filled with various tools and machinery. She begins to reassemble a part of the clean engine block. Her focused work on the engine reassembly continues. She works with concentration, fitting another piece into the engine. A young woman begins disassembling a small, old engine. Her hands, stained with oil, use a power drill to remove the oil pan. Using a wrench, she loosens the old, rusty bolts on the cylinder head. The process of dismantling the dirty engine continues with a small tool. She uses a small screwdriver to remove a tiny component from the engine. With a wrench, she removes another part of the engine. She carefully applies heat to a part of the engine with a small torch. The removed oil pan sits on the ground, filled with grime. Two pairs of hands work together on an engine component. She continues to take apart the engine with a wrench. With the engine almost fully disassembled, she inspects the parts. The engine block is cleaned with a powerful stream of water. She pours oil from a small bottle onto an engine part. The dirty, disassembled engine parts are laid out on the ground. Using a small brush and a pan, she meticulously cleans a small component. She continues the careful process of cleaning parts in the oil pan. Her detailed cleaning work is patient and thorough. She begins to reassemble the engine with small tools. The careful and meticulous process of reassembly continues. She inspects the fully assembled engine with a satisfied look. In a small black pan, a woman works with dark, oil-like fluid. She carefully inspects and cleans what appears to be a piston. She carefully pours a light yellow oil from a bottle onto the piston. A close-up shows a hand holding a small, complex machine part. She continues her work, pouring oil onto another engine shaft. She focuses on fitting a component into the larger engine block. She uses both hands to install a larger part into the engine. A close-up inside the engine shows a hand touching the gears. This close-up shot highlights the precision of tightening a screw on the engine. The woman continues to check and assemble the engine with focus. She carefully assembles a small part into the engine. Working on the top of the engine, she skillfully assembles the valves. A tool is used to make precise adjustments to the valves and springs. She carefully places the cylinder head cover onto the engine. A person installs a small component onto the side of the engine. She meticulously assembles a round component onto the engine. She carefully rechecks all the connections and parts on the engine. A final component is carefully assembled onto the engine. She gives the entire engine a final, thorough inspection. She looks upon the finished engine, seemingly pleased with her work. Working on an old diesel engine, she uses a size 17 wrench. She carefully reconnects the electrical wiring on the engine. Using a simple chain hoist, she lifts the heavy engine block. She pours fluid from a plastic bottle through a funnel into a container. She carefully lowers the partially reassembled engine into position. The nearly completed engine rests in the workshop, clean and ready. A very special thank you to the owner of the YouTube channel, Mechanic, for creating this wonderful video and allowing me to comment. If you enjoyed this narrative, please visit and support their channel at the link in the description below.